Hello everybody, glad you could make it. My name is Kaylee Ellen and welcome to another plant haul. I can't help but think I've forgotten something. I've lined everything up next to me. We're sat on the floor. I know, vibes. It's just easier when I've got loads of things. I don't have to move away to pick things up and we can just stay right here. I just feel like I've forgotten something. But never mind. I may or may not have some more plants coming in the next, 2 weeks or so. Something like that. So if I miss anything today, you get it in the next video. Let's just get cracking. So we're mainly looking at, I think we're only looking at today, Alocasia and Anthurium. And I'll probably do it in no particular order. Some of these plants you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit. Others will be very obvious what they are. So let's go. I'm going to start with some Alocasia combs because I feel like let's just get them out of the way because you don't get to see much. Now, the combs I'm going to show you, I got them at the same time as each other. I have two to show you. I can't remember how long I've had them now. I've had them a while, and you know what? They're not sprouting. I think one is closer to sprouting than the other one, and I keep them in a shot glass like this. I just find it's the best way for now. I put a bit of water in. Granted, that's a lot of water, but there's no roots yet in the comb, so it's fine. It's not doing any damage. But the first comb I have to show you is this guy. Hopefully it will allow you to read it right there. Can you read it? Probably. Hang on, let me try and lift it a bit. This is Alocasia Thai Amazonica variegated. Now, I've done a tiny bit of learning about this, so I will try and share what I've learned. So, Amazonica. There is a lot of stuff on the internet about Amazonica. There is poly, which is obviously a bit more dwarfed. There is Thai Amazonica, and then there is true Amazonica. Now, from my understanding, guys, true Amazonica is the really big one. The one that gets the biggest, basically. We'll just simplify it down. The Thai Amazonica is almost, I think, in between like a poly and an Amazonica. So it's not the big one, it's kind of an in-betweeny one. That's what I think it is. If I'm wrong, feel free, of course, to correct me in the comments below, but I think that's what it is. So yeah, I've not had this long. I can't actually remember when I bought this. Maybe 3 weeks, maybe more, maybe a month. I actually don't know. Nothing's happened yet, but I can see that the comb is live and kicking. I know it's not going to be particularly exciting to see that, but that's what that is. I didn't pay too much for that actually, but I'm very happy about that. Well, actually, no, I did, considering it's a comb and it might die. Yes, I did pay a lot for it. My perception of spending money on plants, it can sometimes get a little bit skewed, and I do apologize for that. It's the line of work that I was in, if you know what I mean. So I'm not trying to offend anyone by saying something doesn't cost a lot of money if it seems that it does. I'm just a little bit, I don't know, my perception's kind of skewed. And when you order plants like that and you have shops and stuff, you kind of have to. If anyone else has a shop, you'll know what I'm talking about. You have to just not think of how much things are worth sometimes, or you see their value a bit differently. I don't know, I can't really explain it. But, mini break in this haul actually, because I went ahead and bought some of these, right? Now, you can use them for many a different thing, and I don't think I've got an updated use for them, but these are basically dessert cups, right? They have a dome on the top. There's no hole in there. That's completely, sealed off. I've been using them as little mini, essentially terrariums to grow things. Now, at the moment, I've just been dropping in, for example, I've put a little bit of kitchen roll in here. I've dropped the shot glass in just to cushion it and keep it in place or whatever. And I've let the comb stay in there. That was a very quick makeshift method of just making sure it was fine and keeping it in high humidity. Obviously, I can pop the top on. Excellent. I wouldn't keep everything like that. I don't have anything in there to show you at the minute. But I've also been doing some Anthurium chunks, and I've been putting leca in here. So I'll put a chunk or baby plantlet or whatever in a bit of leca, maybe to about here. And in the bottom, I'll put my feed in it or whatever, and I'll just keep a little reservoir on the bottom. And to be honest, you never really have to top them up with water because obviously it's completely sealed off. I've had great success so far, guys. I tell you what, I'll show you one. I will get up and I will show you what I mean because I've had such a good time with it. Hopefully there is one in here. So in here, for example, I have the tag to show me what it is when I open it. I have some water in the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. And it's just all sealed off. Now this, I actually picked this up from Ben's house, and I don't know if it's going to be all right or not, but there is basically two halves of a plant in here. And if you can't see, it is Anthurium portilli by luxurians in there. So at the moment, because it was like dying a death and it had quite a lot of nodes on the meristem or whatever, I chopped it in half, trimmed off everything I needed to, and I just popped it in here. And I can't recommend them enough. So I got these off AliExpress, but you can get them nearly anywhere. If you go places like Amazon, they're probably more expensive. You can get different sizes as well. One more thing before we move on. A cool thing you can do, see if I can just pull this plant out of this cup. You're probably thinking, all right, but I want drainage. What you can do is, make a hole in the bottom of here, however you want to do it, scissors, whatever you want, soldering iron. And you can actually just drop it into, this is just a plastic pint glass. It's had another thing to hold in the bottom. It's just a plastic pint glass, and you just drop it on the top. And then obviously when something gets big enough, you just take the lid off. So sorry for the big pause in the hole, but I feel like people might ask me about those. It's a really cost-effective way of doing things. Plus, if you're going to be selling plants as well, depending on what you planted this in, obviously, if there was moss in here or you were selling like a seedling or something, you can just ship them out in these. I thought these were really, really good. A lot of sellers do similar things. I'm going to be showing you some stuff in a bit whereby sellers have done basically the same thing, just a different container. But yeah, pro tip guys, alocasia stuff, seedlings, chunks that you're trying to, start, things like that. Really, really good call. Where did that go? It went in here. Okay, we'll put that in there. My next alocasia corm is so expensive, but I really wanted one of these plants. Excuse me, while I just get it out. I really wanted one of these plants, and they are so expensive. They're so expensive. So I went to my corm guy, the guy that I get all my corms off, and he happened to have one of these plants. And I said, look, I'm really looking for a corm of this plant. And he was like, yeah, I've got one here, but it's first generation of corms off my plant, so I can't tell you how it's going to do. And I was like, right, fine, I'm going to try it anyway. So it's sprouting, guys. It's sprouting, and I'm excited, but we have to pray real hard. So if I just show you, I'll just get the water off. If I just show you what it says it is, hopefully that will focus at some point. There we go. Alocasia Cuprea, gold variegated. This hopefully will grow into the Alocasia Cuprea that everyone describes as, is it like latte variegation or something like that? Caramel latte, whatever. Now normally, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of yellow variegation. I like it more than a lot of other people do. I think it depends on the plant. Generally, I'm with the white camp, I guess, versus yellow. But there's something very special about the way that the Cuprea presents with it, and I really like it. And it's just, it doesn't come off yellow, it comes off like a latte gold kind of caramel color. It's really, really nice. So I wanted to try it. Now I still want the pink Cuprea, but I just thought, let's not get everything pink in case I tire of it, because obviously the Amazonica pink, that's pink. The Chantriri I have, which has sprouted, by the way. I will show you that on an update video probably next week, because I've got loads to update you on. It's crazy in here. I've got that's pink. God, what don't I have that's pink? I've got loads. So I wanted to invest in something a little bit yellow. So we're going to see how that goes. But as I say, it is sprouting. I don't know how well you can see it, but I promise that is sprouting. So we are very excited about it. Again, I know there's a lot of water in there, but it's fine. There are no roots yet. We are okay. Rather keep it in for the humidity. And this is very makeshift. I got this before I got my little dome numbers. It's literally a jar. Again, I put kitchen roll in just to, keep the shot glass in place. It's very makeshift. It's very makeshift, guys. But it doesn't matter. In my cabinet, I wanted my cabinet to be like, looking pretty and nicely scaped or just nicely presented and whatever. And I've started selling plants again privately, obviously, just selling like little bits and pieces off or whatever. And the cabinet's just become really functional already. And I will do a tour at some point, but it's not sexy in there. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of this, which is my next plant I'll show you. There's a lot going on. And it doesn't look sexy. But anyway, the next plant is from Eden Lab. I know I went and got another one, my black velvet, which is doing all right. The variegated black velvet, that was from there as well. But I went and bought another one. Now, I originally probably wanted, this is, by the way, this is Alocasia Dragon Scale variegata, right? And it's white, it's albo. I really wanted a silver dragon variegated, but honestly, the prices of those guys are ridiculous. And I just thought, hey, let's start cheaper. You know, this is tissue cultured, so there is no comb, so you gotta wait a bit of time to get that. You probably have to produce its own, but it's very, very cute. And already the smaller lower down leaf, it's not smaller, it's bigger. The lower down leaf is the leaf that's just pumped out with me, and that's what he looks like. Now he probably needs potted up soon, but I've been very lazy, and Eden Lab's probably gonna be really annoyed with me. I've not even taken out the cling film that it came in. I've just made sure that you can water down it, and I put it in an egg cup, because honestly guys, it sounds terrible, but a lot of times these deliveries get here and I'm really busy, like I'm in between doing stuff, so I have to just do something really quickly in the moment. And I sometimes think as well, like, well, it's helping it acclimate because I've not disturbed it. So you will see a lot of makeshift stuff in here. Some things are potted, some things aren't. That's kind of him. I hope it grows to be big and pretty. I want to keep it as, what would you say, as short and stumpy as possible. I don't want it to get leggy, and I know that's a big problem, in my opinion anyway, with dragon scale. Silver dragon, in my opinion, stays a bit stumpier, but this one can get a bit longer, so I don't want that to happen. So we're going to try our best. Sorry for the state of my hands, by the way, guys. I have calluses on my hands from the gym, and it's just looking terrible. So apologies for that. But look how cute he is. Really good variegation, by the way, really good spread of variegation. We absolutely love that for him, but we will put him down. I should keep the ones I've done in a pile and then leave the other ones, because that makes more sense to me. The next ones I'm going to do are going to be in these pots, and there's two, because one I paid for, one was a freebie. Now these next two plants are from somewhere in the UK called Leahs Leaves, so shout out to Leahs Leaves. I will try and leave the link in the description for that. I think they have an eBay and they have a website. So I bought some seedlings. Well, I bought one seedling. So this is the one I bought, and then I'll get into the freebie. But before I talk about that, this is what I'm saying. So this is obviously what Leah's Leaves has decided to use for the seedling, and that's very cute to transport it in. It's like a little mini juice carton. It's not much different from what I've done. I just wanted a dome on mine specifically so that I can kind of leave things in there a little bit longer. Not only that, but sometimes I've planted things up in like the larger like pint glasses that I showed you before. This lid will sit on top, but it won't like clamp down, but you can just sort of pop it over as like a bit of a lid. You could cling film it on, I suppose, if you want to keep it on, but I'm just sitting them over. I just find this really versatile. So it's the same thing, and it's really, really handy. But yeah, mine are pretty heavy duty as well, but they didn't cost me a lot, I don't think. They must have cost me like £10, but I think I got like 100. So yay me. So if you end up buying anything really like finicky from me, there's a high chance it might go out in something like that. So anyway, I bought something from Leah's Leaves and I liked the sound of it. One of the things I've bought, I've mentioned this plant before actually. I mentioned it in the Rare Plant Index for Anthurium I did last week. I like one of the parents. I like both parents, but I thought, you know what, this could cross nice. So I bought it. And the thing I have bought is the following. Yes, you're going to have to use your imagination. It's a seedling. I will take the lid off. The thing I've bought is this guy. Can you see him? This is Tazula, Ace of Spades, so it should be super, super dark, crossed with my favourite that I'm still looking for, Goliath, or Darkest Panama, or whatever. And it's very, very cute. And you know what? It's looking so plump. I let it get here. I think I put the tiniest bit of water in to make sure that everything was, you know, fine. And then I've put a little bit of my number 1, Nurture System number 1 in there, and a little bit of number 3 in there, obviously, because I want some roots. And you know what? It was sort of leaning on its side a lot, but it's gone really, really perky now. I'm quite pleased with that. Look how nice it looks. Obviously, the newer leaf is the lighter coloured one. The other one was, they were both present when they came to me, but I think this newer leaf has, obviously, it's hardening off and it's got a little bit bigger. But that's it. I realise that looks super boring, completely get it, completely sympathise. But you just have to kind of, use your imagination with this sort of stuff. Same thing for the comb. Obviously, I will have put pictures in so you actually know what the hell I'm talking about when I say things. But obviously, I'll put both parents on the screen probably of this so you can see what I'm hoping to get out of it. But I think it could be quite a nice one. No matter which parent it looks like, I think it's still going to come out nice. So I thought I'd give that a go. Very affordable that as well, I think. Now, she did put in the box a little freebie. And I might have to get the pictures off her website for this one. But this is a freebie. This is Anthurium papillolaminum Naomi by Forgetii Green. And it's shooting away, I've got to say. Since it's come to me, it's popped out another leaf, or it is popping out another leaf. So this is the freebie I got. Very, very cute. We absolutely love that. So at the minute, the plan for these, honestly, I'm just keeping them where they are. Obviously, this one's going to get a little bit big. The other one can technically stay in there a little bit longer. I don't know if you can see them in there. It can stay in there a little bit longer, but it will need to come out. I mean, I could be really lazy. Don't know if it'll make a difference. No, it probably wouldn't make a difference. I was going to say I could just slot that into there and put a lid on it, but I don't think, before you ask me, if I can sit the lid over this, because I've got plenty of lids. Yeah, that doesn't, there's no point. The other thing I could do would be to get a smaller cup and sort of, you know, dome it on the other side and tip it the other way. You know what I mean? There's options, but I would like to not really replant this until it's really, you know, it's really established, because the roots are so delicate. Like, honestly, guys, blink and you miss them. Blink and you miss them. So we will leave him in that. But yeah, just a word on containers and what people are up to. I think we've done corms. We've done seedlings now. So we're all out of those. They're all out of the tubby tubs. So I've got one more alocasia, and then I have 3 more Anthurium. So I'll show you the first alocasia, but I'll just pull this out. I did actually pot this myself. This was a freebie when I bought my 2 variegated corms. So when I bought the Cuprea and the Amazonica, I got this free. Now I already have one of these. It's not sprouted yet. Honestly, the corms are kind of driving me crazy. It's not sprouted yet. So I thought I'll pick one of these so I get one quicker, basically, because obviously it's sprouted. And the size up it's had with me, actually, kind of impressed. I've put these plants in fluval stratum because it's like the done thing, but the size up, like, I have actually fed it with my feed as well, even though it's sat in stratum. I don't know, I'm not saying that's a good thing to do because fluval stratum already has fertilizer in it, but from my point of view, it can't be heavy fertilizer because it's used in aquariums and fish tanks, so it can't be chemical heavy necessarily. So I kind of just fed it with my stuff anyway, and look what's happened. But look what it is. Keen eye among you should know what that is. That's Alocasia Venom. Now, it's in my makeshift self-watering setup, but I have a better setup now anyway, to be honest. I have like this inside a different cup, and I can do it better than this, or I can use, you know, a dome and sit it in one of these. So I wouldn't be doing this anymore because it's really risky, because that is just sort of sat on the bottom. I probably wouldn't do that anymore. Like, for example, before I picked this up to show you, it's just been sat in here, and I've just dropped it into a bigger pot to like keep it safe or whatever. But anyway, so that is that. Oh my God, it's rooting more. You see that? It's a brand new root. We love that. It has got, I think it's got a cocktail in it of my number 3 and number 1. And I'm trying not to overdo it. Normally, when they're young, I'll put in probably both, but I'll definitely go a bit heavy-handed on the number 3 because I want the roots, right? So everything at the minute that's young, that's kind of what they're getting from me. I'd love to do a YouTube video on like different like cocktails of what I do for my plants with my feed, because that's kind of how I built it. Like, everyone asks me like, oh, can I mix the feeds, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, you can. I built it so you can literally make your own cocktail. If you are into your skincare, think The Ordinary and then think mixing those. That's kind of how I built the feed. So number 2, for example, I've just started feeding some of my Anthuriums to make them flower. It's for a flowering response, but you can put it in with just the regular feed, or you can use it on its own, or you can use it with number 3. Like, they're pretty versatile. So that's the cocktail I've been making. Clearly number 3 is doing something because it's rooting. But yeah, I popped it in here, and honestly, I planted it in such a way where this alocasia will probably stay in this pot for a hell of a long time. Like, it's got enough there at the base to be in there a good while. So that's really awesome. Can't tell if that's a new leaf coming. No, it's just the sheath at the minute. But how nice is that size up? So when I got it, it was just the 1 leaf there. And we've had a lovely size up, and you can really see the venom coming through. So honestly, I'm quite happy about that. I think that's really cool. So yeah, I'm watering it through the top when I do, and I'm just keeping an eye on it draining through kind of thing. I don't know if it's fully drained. See, I can just sort of take that off if I want to. I can just fill the bottom if I want to. It's just not the most sturdiest thing that you'll ever see in your life. So when I put it back, I'll be very gently dropping him into here. Not that he needs to be dropped in where there's kitchen roll, but it is kind of helping. And then if I leave a gap at the front, I can see how much water is left. This is what I'm saying, guys. This is how makeshift my shit is at the minute. It's not even funny. Now, the whole cabinet just looks really ugly and like this. I think eventually I will progress to like everything being, you know, really nice in stuff like this. But until such time, we're in a transitional phase, okay? I've probably bought my last self-watering pot for a while, I can tell you that, because the only thing I need big self-watering pots for now are things behind me, and I've got so much of them in the shed. I've got loads. The little self-watering pots, I'm still using those Amazon ones, which, funny, nothing is potted in today. Anyway, the next thing I want to show you, it's a butt cut and it's a leaf attached to it, and I'm really loving the genetics on the bottom leaf, because this is a small leaf. This is a small leaf and it's really dark, which tells me that when this plant is taken care of and it's super mature, it's going to look hella nice when it's big. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell what it is. It does have a tag in it, but I will protect the tag. See if I can give you a chance to guess. Right, maybe tilt it without causing any issues. Don't know if you can tell what it is. Obviously it's an Anthurium. I might be able to turn it better upside down. Yeah, I can show you much better that way, unfortunately. Have another little second to guess. It's very cute. So this, guys, is Anthurium Black Velvet Indo-type, also known as Bevet. If you saw my Anthurium Rare Plant Index last week, then you'll probably know what this is. I got it to eventually, obviously it's tiny, to hybridize with. I got it because it's black and sexy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this leaf is, obviously it's an old leaf, but it's not a very big one. It's tiny. That's my head. That's the size of the leaf. It's tiny, right? And look how beautiful and dark it's hardened off. This hardened off long ago, long ago. And look how dark it stayed. So I think that's a really, really nice one to have. This was just off a private seller on Facebook, but I'm really happy to have scored this. Really, really happy. Because you can't really find these very easily. Or if you can, it's like Bevet by Bevet or whatever, or they're super young and they look a bit green. This one just looks how I would hope it to look. So all I need now is an X1, because I'm really looking for Papillolaminum X1 as well. But I'm very, very happy with the Bevet. I'm assuming it is Papillolaminum. I'm saying it is. It has to be, unless it's its own thing. I don't know, but it's very cute. Look how dark it looks, literally. Because you can see it against the green of this is Philodendron Glorious here, right? You can see it against the green of the Glorious. It is just that little bit darker. And it's tiny and it's young. So really excited about this. Yes, it's a butt cut. Not the best thing in the world. I have no doubts, guys. I've grown things in this house from way less, so I have no doubts. Very, very excited about him. And I think in 3 months, he might look like a completely different plant. But like everything else here today, he's been living in this kitchen cabinet. If you've been following my socials, you know that I have another cabinet in the living room. That doesn't have as much in, actually. You'll see it when I do a plant tour, which will be, we're going into May. It'll be in May, probably later in May, I will do a plant tour, and I will probably show you the cabinets, show you the wall in all its glory. I'll pull the tag out of this. The next plant has suffered a little bit since it's come to me. It's my fault. It's not the seller's fault. I unpotted it really quickly and I've shoved it in lecker, and it's not the happiest with me, actually. And I've made something really makeshift, and I just think, to be honest, I might pull this out and put it in a bit of water. It's really not happy with me at all, guys. Not even a little bit. So I will obviously put in some references of what this plant is, but it could look a lot better, right? It actually looks thirsty, and it's annoying me because it looks like there's plenty of water in it. So I need to check it. But this here, I know. Try and show you up close. You see this? So it's got a little red petiole insertion. It's quite a nice long shape, and it's got veins all the way down the bottom. Yeah, it's curving. I think it's thirsty. Yikes. Maybe I didn't plant it down far enough. This here is Anthurium Velvet Cobra. I believe it's I don't know exactly what it was. It's probably a pap hybrid though. And I got it because honestly, again, it is really dark and sexy. Does this look dark and sexy? No, I've upset him. I've really upset him. He didn't have loads of root, but really I should have left him where he was, and that is on me. Now, he won't die, but he's probably going to look a hell of a lot worse before he looks better. You know, he's very wobbly in the pot as well. What I tried to do was, again, I've put him in lacquer. I've added more water today, given how he looks. The water is actually to about here, and really makeshift. I put cling film all around the top to keep the humidity in, to stop the water escaping. Yeah, see, it's moving around. Yeah, I think it's, yeah. Oh no, it's rotted a bit. Sorry, I'm literally now pulling this out. It's rotting. It's rotting. Okay, well, maybe a bit of water then. I'll have to see what to do there. That's why it's not doing very well. Because it's doing that. Don't get me wrong, that's the amount of root that it had when I bought it, but obviously what is there is now rotting, so I must fix that as soon as I've filmed this video. But that's him anyway. He'll be fine. I don't really have any doubts. I think he's going to be okay, but I need to give him some serious TLC. It's a good job I've done this video, otherwise I may have forgot about him over the weekend and then just not being able to do anything about it. Honestly, I will obviously put some pictures in of what he looks like or reels or whatever it is. He is lovely. Don't judge him by how he looks. What am I going to put him in? Let's have a little think about it while we're on camera together. Trim the rot, which gives him even less root because I think this whole root here is a goner. Trim the rot off. Soak him in some number 3. Maybe trim the rot off. This is the plan. We're going to trim the rot off. We're going to put a tiny bit in the bottom like that, right? You see that? We're going to put a little bit of number 3 mixed, a higher dose. And we're going to leave them to sit for 24 to 48 hours. I'll probably cling film over the top again just to keep that water from going anywhere because it's very hot in here. It's about 25 degrees right now. It's very toasty. And we're just going to see if we can get him to grow back. I might put a little bit of lacquer in the bottom just to keep him from tipping over, and we'll just make sure that he's all right because that's not a lot of root, that, and I don't want to lose him because he was quite expensive actually. He was quite expensive, but I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. I've done this job long enough. Not a lot scares me these days, guys. When you've dealt with some of the things I've had to deal with, not a lot scares you. But honestly, I think I've saved the best to last. So if you've seen my Instagram, then you'll know what's coming, but I'm really pleased with this one. This is gorgeous. This is actually gorgeous. This is beautiful. I have here my first ever dock block hybrid, and I didn't mention this one specifically on the Rare Plant Index, but I mentioned like dock block hybrids in general, and that they are very good, to be honest. If you can get your hands on one, they're absolutely worth it. As I said on my Anthurium video, they are very variable because they're all like, it's like, obviously it's a hybrid, it's seedlings. So if you have this plant that I'm about to show you, for example, if someone else has it, it might look different. But anyway, this is how he lives at the moment, okay? But I've got my reasons. This is the plant. This is his pot right here because I want to show you it because it's really cool. It's 3D printed. This cool pot here is because it's from Terra Botanical and I absolutely adore it. I have sat it in here, right? It's pretty handy that way. 1, it raises him above other plants in my cabinet. 2, if I water him, he can just drain into it and we're fine. Like I watered him the other day with my feed and it's just dripped through and it's fine because it's a soil mix essentially. It's like a chunky aroid mix and I can see it's got a variety actually of different ingredients in there. So I'm leaving him be. I've kind of learned my lesson doing this and we're just leaving him be for a little while, I think. I will eventually convert him over to like a pawn or something else, but for now, let's not screw around with him. Let's not screw around with him. He's very happy though. So anyway, this is, guys, if you can't see the tag, this is Dock Block Black Widow 43 by Velvet Cake 24, and he's lovely. I do know that when he gets bigger, he does get secondary veins coming in. I don't know if you can see that. Unfortunately, we don't have just the primary. It's one of those things with hybrids. Plus, I think as well, the Dock Block 13s are the really good ones, and then 43 it's still good, but obviously it's a little bit further removed from the Black Widow that we all think of. But he's really, really lovely, and I absolutely adore him. I love the red petiole insertion at the top. Hopefully you can see it. And to be honest, this one casts a little bit blue-toned. It's not the most blue-toned one that you can get, but like, again, can I put it next to that? Can you see the blue tone? Maybe you can, maybe you can't, I don't know. He comes off very blue-toned though. He has a new leaf coming out that, funny enough, it's actually just frazzled off. But, in fairness, he was sent to me with that new leaf. Can you see that? Like, it has frazzled off. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Normally, when stuff like this happens, I've had this happen with a lot of Anthurium actually. If like a new leaf's coming out and you do something like you snap it off or something like that, in my experience, usually the Anthurium immediately tries to send out a new leaf again. What did that happen with? I think it happened with Anthurium Fairchild that I have next door. The leaf was coming out, love that for me. I accidentally snapped the petiole clean off and I was really sad about it. But then the plant immediately pushed another leaf. So with any luck, that might happen. It'd be hard to think that there's no consequence at all of, cutting something and sending it. So it's fine. Otherwise, it's stable. If it only just, tanks a new leaf, I'm fine with that. It's not going to die. Look at it. I'd be more concerned at this point, guys, about this guy here that I need to sort immediately after this video. So that's kind of how he's sat. He's very cute. I've got the tag as well. I can't see. There we go. If you want to look up Terra Botanica, I massively advise you do so because they are definitely, in my opinion, one of the leading shops in the UK, if not the leading shop for the dock block hybrids. So if you are really, really wanting one, I suggest you go and give them a look. They have an Instagram as well, all the rest. So please do check them out. They do launches and drops and stuff like that every so often. So keep your eye out on the gram and you might get something really, really sexy. So I think that's all the plants I had to show you today, guys. Yes, it's not the most visually pleasing haul because a lot of these things are young, but honestly, it's kind of the only way you can sort of save money while still buying like rare stuff. So that's kind of the route that I've gone down. Plus, I don't mind waiting for things, These Alocasia are going to take ages. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this haul. If you have not seen the Anthurium Rare Plant Index, I suggest you do it, guys. It's like an hour and a half of Anthurium fun. And if you want to know where things like this sit, check that out. And also, in the meantime, YouTube thinks that you should maybe give these videos a go. So if you haven't seen them, give them a click. Bye!